Hey everybody, I'm Natalie Bencivenga and welcome to 5 Minutes With. This week I am so honored to have the wonderful Betty Cruz with me today. She is the CEO and president of the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh. Thank you so much, Betty, for joining me.
Thanks for having me here, Natalie. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. And in fact, it's really thrilling because I had interviewed for your summit earlier this year, several voices that are connected to the organization, but I really was hoping that I would get to actually talk to you at some point. So this is awesome. So for people that may not be aware, can you share a little bit about what the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh is and what they do?
Yeah, so the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh, we've actually been around for 90 years. This
Wow.
year is our 90th, which is terrific. And so a long history centered in global education. So really thinking about how we bring global education opportunities both to the classroom, so primarily working in high schools, as well as to the community through our public programming.
So when you're talking about global education programming, what does that mean? What does that entail?
Yeah. So with young people, it means that we're working side by side with them, especially starting in 2020,
Mhm.
working side by side with them to expose them, connect them to global education opportunities so that they understand the bigger world outside of them. So they understand what the UN Sustainable Development Goals are and what their place is in this bigger world beyond Pittsburgh. So they understand that the actions that they take and the history that they're learning about in schools is relevant on a global scale. So climate change,
Mhm.
racial justice, all of these issues are not just happening maybe outside of their neighborhood, they're happening within the community that they're a part of, which is part of this bigger world, and how they can take direct action. And then on the flip side, working with adults, because we need to be involved in
We
taking
do.
action too. Really, in this last year, it's been reflecting a lot on how we're making sure that with the broader community, we're having conversations where we're learning about the world and thinking about tangible actions that we can take and how we're better coming together in community to understand what the world around us. So we want to make sure that these aren't just academic exercises, that we're not just reflecting on what's happening in Iran right now or what's happening in Nigeria with SARS or what have you, but that we actually think about how does this interconnect to local issues, to national issues, to my own position in space and where I might have some influence and can do something with this knowledge.
No, and I think that's incredible. And I really appreciated what you were talking about bringing the youth into the conversations and making it relevant to them to the point that you've now merged with Global Minds and they've become a program within your organization. Can you talk a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, so excited, so excited. We just announced the merger. It's been almost a year in the making. So soon after I stepped into my role, Peyton Klein, who founded Global Minds, which is a for youth by youth organization, approached us because she started Global Minds when she was 15. She was then last year a high school senior and needed to find a home to this amazing organization that she built that was really authentically centered in youth leadership and forging friendships between high school students from different backgrounds, again, so that they can come together and be exposed in ways that they might not organically be exposed to, even within the school setting, and then do work together
Mhm.
and really move towards action. Because we already know, especially in the last few years, we've seen loud and clear that young people are already leaders.
Yeah.
And at the World Affairs Council, we've had a youth education program for 50 years. Last year, we acknowledged 50 years of that program. So we've been doing youth voice, and really as we started these conversations and honestly as a team thinking how we could be more intentional as well, we started to partner more and more with Global Minds and looked at ways to amplify youth leadership so that they're building again the curriculum for themselves and taking those direct steps themselves. So yeah, it's the start of a lot of even more exciting opportunities to come. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of good work to follow. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And, when we're talking about that good work, the word that has really been resonating with me lately is the idea of relevancy. And so, in the climate that we're in right now, there's a lot going on, there's a lot of turmoil around us. How does your organization sort of fit into that larger narrative? And how do you stay relevant being based in Pittsburgh in this moment?
Yeah. So we started our strategic planning process last year, and we're going to be rolling that out publicly in about a month. And it has centered on how the council wants to be and needs to be more accessible and representative of our community. So
Mhm.
to make sure that we're walking the walk there, we had high school students in a strategy committee that we formed. We had community leaders who are immigrants, who are Black Americans, who represent different identities at the table telling us what they want to see from us.
Mhm.
Um, so what we learned has been transformative in redefining who we have been for the past 90 years and who we want to be in the
Mm.
next 90. And who we want to be is absolutely relevant, forward thinking. We want to be building more globally minded
Mhm.
community members from, intergenerational at every age, as well as making sure our world is more globally connected. And this topic of relevance was at the forefront from when I interviewed for the position almost a year ago. I've been in the role now, and to our conversations throughout. So to be relevant means to understand that you don't have a globally minded community. You are not connecting folks in the ways that we want, and really understanding the world if we're not also anti-racist, for example. If we're not also not just having a conversation that feels maybe polite and um, warm and fuzzy for the moment, but what is it actually doing? How
Yeah.
is it not just a one and done?
Mhm.
So being relevant means, to me at least, and to our community and our board and where we're going, is that we're thinking about how we're moving action and moving forward, not just this static um, moment in time.
I appreciate that. And as we wrap up this 5 minutes with, and I wish we had longer because I know I could talk to you forever, but as we wrap this up, I just wanted to get your thoughts and reflections on being in the state of the world that we're in with the amount of turmoil that we're seeing. What are your hopes for this country moving forward as it pertains to the work that you do?
Wow, you're gonna end with that easy question. God, my hopes is that that speaking with you, a journalist, my hope would be that we can come together and have conversations based on facts, that with an openness to the possibility of being wrong, the possibility of maybe redefining how you think about the world, how you think about what you know,
Mhm.
being willing to be challenged. I think we have so much to learn from one another, and there I truly am, a hopeful optimist at the core. At the end of the day, although I can get very frustrated, rightfully so, I think with a lot of what we're seeing, but I think there is more that unites us and divides us. I think that there is more that we can work, towards and get further faster when we're working together. So
Mhm.
I think that we need to just get past this blockage that won't allow us to even have conversations. Um, and at the same time, we need to change the way that we're responding to hate, and we need to take seriously the acts of oppression that have long been happening against Black and Brown communities in our country. So we must never again see a Confederate flag on our US Capitol. We must never again see some of what we've seen, not just last year, but for many years, and not just last week. And in order to do that, that takes an honest, informed, educated, nonpartisan. This isn't about party. So doing the right thing doesn't have to be and shouldn't be about party. It should be about doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you so much and the work that you're doing with the World Affairs Council of Pittsburgh to help do your part to create that world in which we can have better conversations that are constructive in a way that we can all move forward that betters the many and not just the few. So, thank you so much, Betty, for spending 5 minutes with me.
Thank you. Thank you so much.